Yo, what is good, ballers? Welcome back to another episode of the Basement Ballers. In today's episode, we're going to be giving our top six prediction for this year's Premier League. Obviously, the Premier League is about to start in a couple of days, and you already know we got you with our predictions. You can come back at the end of the season, see how right we were, and in the comments, let us know what you think about each one of our rankings. I may or may not respond, but you're probably wrong, so at the end of it, I'm playing. But yeah, let us know, guys. We appreciate the support. Subscribe to the channel. We're still pretty new, so feel free, of course, to let us know how we can improve these videos, because at the end of the day, these videos are for you. Okay? But without further ado, let's start off with our ranking. At number 6, I don't know if this is going to surprise you, but I'm putting Aston Villa. Aston Villa, of course, a team last season who made it into the top 4 Champions League qualifiers. This season, they're looking a little different. Lost a couple players like Moussa Diaby, Douglas Luiz, important players for them last season. But they also signed Amadou Onana, who is a very high quality midfielder, obviously from Everton. He comes into the squad. They still have players. They still have one of the best goalkeepers in the world in Emi Martinez. They still have high quality players, and they quite frankly have a high quality manager. But I just don't know how they're going to be able to deal with the scheduling changes as well. That's, for me, the most important thing. They're not going to fall off, as some people might predict, but I think that 6th place is very fair, given that now they got to play Champions League and, of course, all those other cup competitions that are involved in English football and so on and so forth. So for me, Aston Villa, number 6, I still think that they're a top side, and I just don't foresee any other club, small club like Chelsea, for example, going ahead of them. Number 5, I got Tottenham Hotspur. Again, a team that most people might not even have in their top 5, but given their performance last season, in the beginning of the season, they still have retained a lot of those same players. The likes of Van der Ven, who was solid for them, Romero, solid for them, Madison, who was solid for the first half of the season, kind of fell off in form in that second half. Richarlison, who really came into his own in the second half. Obviously, his position at the club is still up in the air. Some interest in Saudi clubs, so on and so forth. But they signed, in my opinion, a very important piece as of late, and that is the likes of Dominic Solanke, a striker, of course, who was playing for Bournemouth last season, who was at Liverpool earlier in his career, but now has found a home at Tottenham. And for me personally, I don't know how much y'all rate this brother, but for me, I rate this brother heavily. And I think he is going to have a top season for Spurs. Now, the problem with Spurs, in my opinion, is now I really don't know how Ange is going to play. For me personally, high ball should be against my religion, because realistically, it leaves your defense very susceptible to counter attacks. But at the same time, I'm also wondering, how is that front 3 really going to look? Son, in my opinion, getting up there in age, I don't know if he can really fulfill the roles of a left winger. Obviously, he was finding most of his success last season as sort of your number 9 down the middle kind of player. This season, you got Dominic Solanke, who I'm assuming if you're going to pay the big bucks for that brother, you're going to start him. You still got Timo Werner. Where do you play Son? Son has to play. So still questions in there, but I still think that Ange, quality manager, I still need to see a little bit more from him in terms of performances and things like that. But Spurs, I'm putting at number 5. All right, moving on to our top 4. At number 4, surprise, it is Manchester United. One of the top clubs in the Premier League this season that have actually went out and made some real high quality signings, in my honest opinion. Xerxes, Euro, of course, who's injured for the next 3 months, but I mean still a high quality signing, just a little bit of bad luck. De Ligt, Mazraoui, sort of strengthening up that defense. Of course, they lost Varane in the offseason. Lisandro Martinez is still very much like, is he injury prone? How is he going to perform? But still, for me personally, a top quality center back. You saw that for Argentina in the Copa America. He comes into the side. Harry Maguire, who last season, honestly, no jokes aside, was having a decent season until he went down injured. So his performances could still be questioned, of course, but if he plays to his ability, in my opinion, I think he is still a decent defender. And for me, I think the real question for Manchester United now is what goes on in that midfield, okay? And how does your front three look? Because Casemiro, not really doing it for me. I think Mainu comes into the side quite comfortably. Bruno Fernandes, of course, starts for Manchester United. Who is your third midfielder? Antony, what's his status? 100 million in the drain. How does he perform? But I still think that no injuries sort of in play. Of course, that's hard to keep, but no injuries. Manchester United have been making some high quality signings. Could they sign more? I don't know. Of course, they've been looking at Ugarte. They've been looking at offloading Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford in the question as well over a transfer. Regardless, Manchester United, I think, are looking better than they looked last year. Whether you want to take their preseason into account or not, I think that they will have a solid performance this season. They will be nowhere near challenging for the title, in my honest opinion. But top four for me goes to Manchester United. In at number 3, you got the beloved, top tier, best club in England, Liverpool Football Club. Now, at the surface, Liverpool, you're looking, new manager, you're looking, haven't signed any players, and so on and so forth, and you would be absolutely right. You cannot take preseason as a metric for success in the regular season, unfortunately, because Liverpool have had a very solid preseason, okay? The problem with Liverpool that FSG do not want to pay attention to is the fact that we have no depth. That is right. We have no depth. Our front starting 11, solid. Honestly, you got Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Konate, or Kwanzaa even. Robertson, or even Joe Gomez up the left. You got Mac, Szoboszlai, I guess Endo or even Gravenberch in that midfield three. And then your front three, take your pick. You got Salah up the right, Nunez, Jota down the middle, Gakpo or Luis Diaz off the left. That's how I would play it personally. Your first 11, solid. It's your backup 11 that I really question. Your subs, who are you bringing on? A lot of youngsters, a lot of players that genuinely, I don't know how they will perform next season. Bajcetic, a question, injury prone or not. Elliott, of course, solid ass player. Looking forward to seeing what he does. But that being said, no real number 6 going into the season. A number 6 is a position that we've needed for the last 3 damn seasons. FSG said, you know what? No Zubamendi, no number 6. They don't give a damn. But that being said, I do like how Liverpool are playing under Arne Slot. We have Champions League football. Maybe number 3 is looking a little optimistic. I just genuinely don't see any other club that is better than Liverpool at the current moment, aside from your top 2, of course. But let me know what you guys think. I know that one might be a bit of a controversial take, but without further ado, let's get into number 2. Hold your hats, because this one might be a bit of a shocker. I got Manchester City at number 2. Assuming these bums don't get relegated into oblivion, I think these brothers will get into number 2. Now, you might be wondering, well, what a stupid ass prediction. Manchester City are probably going to win it again. Well, listen, I'm putting my whole heart on the line and say that Manchester City are Oil FC, are Bum FC, and they will not do it for a 5th time in a damn row. There has to be parity. There has to be something that happens. And Arsenal, for me personally, are looking like they will take the number 1 position. But Manchester City, why, you might ask? I just think that De Bruyne getting up there in age last season, sure, he had his moments of brilliance, but this season, I really don't think he's going to be up to par. He is an important player for Manchester City. He is a player that links up well with Haaland. I don't think that De Bruyne will be up to the task this season, especially when you consider all of these competitions that Manchester City have to play. I don't know if De Bruyne is ready for that. Okay, of course, they have Rodri, the undeniable Rodri, the most valuable player, Rodri. In my opinion, the Ballon d'Or winner, who should be the Ballon d'Or winner. But that being said, what if Rodri goes down? Obviously, I don't wish injury on anybody, but these are all possibilities. What if Rodri gets a red card? These are all possibilities. And in the Premier League, points matter. 1 point, 3 points, they all matter. And anything can happen. And I think that Manchester City, over the course of 38 games, plus Champions League, plus FA Cup, plus Carabao Cup, these brothers are going to have a hard time. Okay? But you can never, of course, count them out of the race. I just kind of hope that they don't do it 5 times in a row, because I do not want to hear the 3 Manchester City fans pipe up for the next, off season. I don't want to hear it. But of course, as you might have guessed, my number one team, the team that I think will win the 2024-2025 Premier League, is Arsenal Football Club. And you know what? I'm not an Arsenal fan, as you might know. I am a Liverpool fan. But I've seen the light. No, I'm kidding. I think Arsenal have a good squad this season, man. I think Arsenal were missing a few pieces last season. They went out, they signed a defender, didn't really think they needed it, but they fortified what was already a top-level Premier League defense. Okay? So try to pass if you will. You got William Saliba. You got Gabriel. You got Ricardo Calafiori. You've got Ben White in your back four alone. And you've got subs. You've got Kivior. You have Zinchenko, who is a pretty shit defender, I'll be honest, but you still have him. You have what's his face? You got some good. You got Timber as well, who is arguably a starting 11 caliber player. Okay. In their midfield, you have, of course, the top talent of Odegaard, who solid ass player, one of the best attacking midfielders, number 8s in the Premier League, in my opinion. Maybe Arsenal could use with one more midfielder. I know they've been looking at Mikel Merino to strengthen that midfield side, and what happens for them in terms of their number 6. Obviously, Declan Rice comes into that position quite comfortably. Had a solid showing last season. Will he be able to continue? I think he will. He's a solid-ass player, young-ass talent. This brother, I think, will be ready to play throughout the 38-game stretch. Okay, your front 3, you also have some options there. Of course, Saka, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, Trossard. That is, in my opinion, the one place where you could use some signings, some depth signings, in my opinion. At right wing specifically, Saka, genuinely, if I have to see this brother limp off the field one more time, I'm going to have a panic attack. Gabriel Jesus, whether he's actually the top level striker that Arsenal need him to be, I have my doubts, if I'm being honest. And Martinelli, a player who kind of lost a little bit of favor in Arsenal fans' eyes last season, especially in that second half. But in my opinion, solid-ass brother. Can he do it on the big stage? Those are questions that need to be asked. And Trossard honestly came in really clutch for Arsenal last season. Can he do it again? I think he can. Okay. That being said, guys, these are my top 6 predictions for next season's Premier League competition. I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you thought about all and everything. And just let me know what you thought, all right? And you know what? Follow, subscribe, like, comment. Become a honorary baller today. All of our contacts, socials, everything that you need to know basement baller wise is in our description. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Those are our main 3 platforms, along with YouTube, of course. And we also got a Discord that we've started that we're trying to build called the Ballers Academy. All fan bases are welcome into that Discord, so go check that out. And again, guys, thank you guys for the support. Let me know what we can do to improve these videos for you. And without further ado, have a beautiful day. Peace.